Happy Sunday, CFS, April 19th, 419. You have 4 movements you're going to do for 2 minutes each, and we're going to end up doing 3 rounds. If you are using the Smart WOD timer, which you can download, it is really easy. There's 4 applications on it, and when you are doing things like in a circuit, the EMOM is where you want to go to. So you're going to click EMOM, you're going to click every 2 minutes, you're going to change it to every 2 minutes, and then for 24 minutes, since that's the total. So at every 2 minutes, it will give you a little ding. It also dings at the halfway point, which is really nice, and it shows you visually, if you look at it, how much time you have left. So I love that timer. We're also going to use it a lot next week for some fun stuff. So sheet door pull-up. So we're going to be doing a pull-up today with a sheet, which is a completely different grip. So if you have another way to do a row today, please do that if it works best, if you don't have the ability to use a sheet. But the sheet resembles the rope climb, which is a completely different grip. So a little more challenging if you're not used to it. A foot to hand plank slide. So socks on hardwood will work really nice. You can use sliders. If you're on carpeting, you can use paper plates, or you could use just picking up your foot. So if you don't have the ability to slide, we got you. No problem. And then we're going to do some rock backs into some hip mobility, and then different arch variations. Again, I'm giving you guys lots of variation and room to play because it is for 2 minutes, which can be really boring if you're just doing the same thing. If you have that creativeness, or you feel like changing stuff, that's what we're going to do today. Okay, so you're going to take a sheet, and we're going to tie in a knot at the end of the sheet, so you have one long end, and obviously the knot is on the end of your sheet. If you have a door, what you're going to do is put it over the door, and then I like the door to close to you. So it opens away from you and closes to you. That way when you're pulling on it, you're essentially closing the door more. I don't really like when the door opens to you, you close it, and you pull on it, you're basically almost forcing it to open again. I really don't like that. So I've seen way too many of those like gym fails, and it's usually user error. So let's make sure that we can get on the side of the door, like this door. I would not put the sheet on it because it's opening towards me. So that's not a good door. Okay. So I have the ability to put it into a hook into my ceiling, so that's great, but use the door. So what I'm gonna do is a pull-up. And so sitting on the floor, okay, I'm gonna go hand over hand and pull my elbows towards my hips. And so I'm doing more of that like vertical pull. You can switch your hands every single time, or every other time, or every 10 reps or something, but there's your pull. If you wanna make it harder, just walk your feet in a little bit. The other thing you could do today is hand over hand, more of a rope climb, hand over hand on the way down. This sheet is made of bamboo, it's like super stretchy. So changing it for yourself, you could also play with your tempo. So pulling yourself up, lowering down really, really slow, or even pausing, going back up a little bit, back down, wherever you struggle with your pull-up. If you struggle at the bottom to like get it going, then you should play in that area. If you struggle right here to get that last little bit, then you should play in that area. If you don't practice those ranges, you have this full range of motion with your arm, then you're gonna be missing the strength in that particular range. So have fun with that. The next one is in plank. I'm gonna be doing foot to hand. So I'm gonna slide my foot across the floor so it touches my hand left and right. And if you notice my body, it's going into a pike, a little bit of a hollow. I'm lifting up. If you don't have the ability to slide, you're gonna physically pick that foot up, step it as close to your hand, hips kind of go back down, I rest, and then I pick my hips back up to the hollow to step back. So there's this little movement with the belly there. If your foot slides to here, and that's as far as it goes, then that's where your mark is. You're getting as close to your hand as possible. I guess a little arcs plus could be taking it even further beyond, but you'll feel it in the belly as you do that. Okay, and then rocking is the third one. So I always like people to practice rocking first. So laying on your back, little baby rocks. You wanna make sure your hips come off the floor. A lot of times this happens. People sit up, but they don't really lift their hips off the floor. It can be because of strength, or it could be because of their mobility in their back, but just make sure you can do that, because if you have a relatively flat back and you go to rock, it's not very comfortable. So first make sure you can rock. And then we're gonna do rock to some type of mobility. So rocking back, again, making sure the hips come up. I'm either gonna go into an S sit, it's also called a 90-90 sit or a side bent sit, has lots of names. And then just alternating sides. So rock back, switch legs, and you just have to sit up well and you'll feel the mobility in the hip. If you really need the recovery, you can sit here a little bit longer. You can also, if it bothers your knees or you just wanna change it up, go into sort of this half hamstring. So my foot is here, but my knee can move out to the side a little bit. I can reach forward and stretch out the hips and hamstring that way, okay? If the rocking is not your friend, you can just stay here, okay? You can also switch the side bent sit, left and right, and just pause a little bit as you rotate so that you get a little more core. I didn't use my hands, but you can for sure use your hands to get from side to side. I'll just demo that. So you use your hands where you need them, and that is your rocking one. And then the last one is arching. So just an arch, lifting my feet and hands off the floor. You can just hold that. You can hold a Y, W, T, A. You can hold any of the letters. You can also swim. So having my thumbs touch and then touch behind me, that's a nice one, okay? And you can also do this with your head down. So that would make it a little more shoulder if your head was down, so you can change that a bit. Okay, again, you got 2 minutes. You can change and move around if you need to. You can also just do a rocking arch. So these I find extremely challenging. So I'd probably do like 10 of those and then go and do some of the other arch variations. And then the last one I had was, rocking from side to side. So in your arch, going to the side. And when I go to the side, I'm sort of on my glute. So I'm not directly on the side of my hip, which is really uncomfortable. I go almost to my glute and I'm in sort of a bow shape here. And then to the other side, again, a little bit more on my glute. So just rocking from left to right there. And that is your Sunday WOD.